students. This is a continuation of the last video regarding deforestation. Yesterday I explained you what is deforestation. Today let us get into the same topic, that is what are the effects of deforestation. If you cut down all the trees for our sake, what happens to the environment? So the first point I have written is atmospheric carbon dioxide is increased because the trees that could hold a lot of carbon in their biomass are lost. So what do you mean by this? See, during photosynthesis, what happened? The carbon dioxide is taken by the plant and it gives out oxygen to the atmosphere, which the oxygen is needed for all the living organism for the respiration. Now, if the oxygen level goes down, when it goes down, when there is a rise in the carbon dioxide and all the trees are being cut off, the oxygen level goes down and carbon dioxide increases. So we cannot breathe with the carbon dioxide. Hence, there will be lot of problems for the living organism to exist. As the carbon dioxide or the carbon increases in the atmosphere, there will be total loss in the biodiversity also, habitat destruction of the animals also, and it also disturbs the hydrological cycle. So what is hydrological cycle? Means in the hydrological cycle, if the carbon dioxide increases, and if there are no trees also, there will be less of rainfall. If the rainfall is less also, it's a difficulty only, which enhances the problematic of global warming. So here what do we tell? At the global level, if the deforestation damages the earth's ability to clean the atmosphere, if oxygen is released, carbon dioxide, if it becomes, we tell the atmosphere is clean. The carbon dioxide increases and oxygen level decreases. If the oxygen level decreases, carbon dioxide increases, that is means pollution, air pollution level increases. So rainforest, what I have told you already, rainforest acts as a planet lungs. So for our earth, the trees, the forest is said to be the lungs of the atmosphere because it releases most of the oxygen. So converting the carbon dioxide back into oxygen and filtering out pollutant can be done only when there is the presence of the plants. So scientists usually they believe that deforestation alters the weather pattern. It contributes towards the global warming. This will nearly account for nearly how much? 25% of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere each year. How much percent? 25% of the carbon dioxide will be released. Then second problem, the last point I have notified, that is it gives rise to soil erosion and the desertification. If all the trees are being cut, usually we tell soil erosion can be avoided if there are tall plants with a deep rooted, means those roots will hold the soil. If there is no trees, means what happens? The topmost soil is removed. That what we tell, the burning of the forest might be, or cutting down the tree might be. It will result into the soil erosion and the flood. So the forest act as a giant sponge for absorbing enormous quantities of the water in the rainy season. Normally this water which is been absorbed enters into the water table. That how we get the enough of water for drinking also. If that is not occurred, our streams, our river, our lakes also will be drained without water. So the most effective thing is that deforestation has to be stopped. If not, this all effects will occur. You must, you should have been heard, if there is a removal of the top layer of the soil, even the humus and the microfauna also will be removed, which provides a nutrient for the plants will not be available anymore. So deforested areas are what exposed to the rain and also for flooding. Example we can give you the Nepal and India also. So deforestation in the foothills of Himalayas, which has led the catastrophic flood of the river Ganges. This all you have seen also. The if there is no trees, no forest is maintained, means what happens again? We have to face all these consequences. It also result in desertification. I told you forests are the main source of the rainfall. If there is no rainfall, what happens? So when they will release large amount of water back to the atmosphere if the plants are there. So if the rainfall does not occur, the water evaporates and also transpiration occurs from the most of the plant system, and there is no rainfall, there will be drought only, and the land will get dried up. If there is a drought or desertification, can a man can survive? That is also leads to the scarcity of the food. If there is no rainfall, scarcity of food will occur. And to save ourselves to having a food, enough of water means you should save the trees, it is understood. So these are all the nearly effects of the cutting down of the trees. That what we tell, if you cut a tree you should think, it seems, no, planting a plant. So that ideology should be developed in each student, so that we can save our earth from all these effects. See, coming to reforestation. So what do you mean by reforestation? Reforestation is one of a very good step in bringing back the rainfall, might be, or getting a remedy from the drought and desertification. So reforestation, world's forest cover has been shrinking rapidly, especially in the developing countries, which we are also one of them. So what do you mean by reforestation? It is nothing but growing trees in areas where the forest is previously existed. See, if they cut the trees, and if they cut the trees, they have to plant. They have to plant in a such a way. They have to, if they cut 10 trees, they should plant at least nearly double to that, some 20 plants. That means that is what it tell, environmental ethic we tell, to restore back the environment. That adaptation only we call it as reforestation. So here 2 points I have given. The process of restoring a forest, that is growing the plants. The forest, if it is cut, the trees, if it is cut, we should restore a forest means you should plant the plants that once existed in the past. So it may occur naturally in deforested areas sometime. If there is no rainfall, though deforested area will not again give birth to the new plant system. So we can speed it up by planting the trees. So that one goal we should have. If you cut the trees, we should try to plant it. So massive afforestation would regrow the lost trees cover to in a large extent also. There are usually three main types of afforestation, I'll tell you. They are social forestry, urban forestry, and agroforestry. These three forestry, if the people adapt, then we can save our forest and also our environment. The social forestry, see, once again I'm telling you, reforestation, it is classified into three types. This reforestation, or we also call it as afforestation, these are aiming for restoring the forest. So which are those three types means social forestry, urban forestry, and agroforestry. Social forestry, what do you mean by social means? It is a process of planting trees for the general benefit of a society. So in a society you are going to construct a road. So when they start constructing the road, the trees which are at this I mean edges, at the side, they usually, when they enlarge the road, at that time what do? They cut all the trees. So fine, if you cut all the trees also, you should know to plant again the plants for the welfare of the society. That built up only we call it as a social forestry. This is undertaken usually by government nowadays. In an, it is an old age, practice right from the Emperor Ashoka, it seems. In that time also, it involves planting the trees along the roadside. So usually when we visit Bangalore, we used to tell in those days, Bangalore city is a garden city, because in the road, when we enter a road, both the side tree used to be there, and those trees used to become a like canopy and cover the road, and the road used to be so cool. You can find little bit darkness in those road when we moving. Now if you enter the city, there are no trees only. There is too much of heat because there are no trees. All the trees are cut down for the making up of what it is, metro train, or bridge formation, a flyover formation. Because of this, no, most of the trees are cut. So all the trees, when it is cut, what happened, the level of temperature in that area increases. So when the level of temperature increases means we are avoiding or inviting global warming. So government has undertaken the planting as it was in during Ashoka time. Like if you cut the tree, you should have a plan of regrowing the plants there and bringing back the same type of environment. And usually government tells or I mean use the schools, colleges, or in the telling them to plant trees. And also Vana Mahotsava is being celebrated. Whether you know or not, I don't know. Vana Mahotsava is celebrated in the Karnataka, like telling you have to plant the trees everywhere so that we get a better oxygen, so that we can breathe freely. If oxygen is less, no more we can survive on this earth. So for that effectiveness, even government has taken care of planting the trees in the canal banks, might be railway tracks, might be burial grounds, might be playgrounds, might be in the school premises, might be this. Sometimes you can see is many trees would have been planted and they put in a barricade also for those trees. So this is not done by anybody. It is done by our own surrounding municipalities only. So they have an aim. The government have an aim to have a social forestry. That means growing trees in our society. Coming to the urban forestry and community forestry means it is a process of restoring forestry through the involvement of entire community people. So if you are living in a community, in a village or in a town, if any trees are cut, any plants are being removed, so the city people involve themselves in gardening, teaching the younger generation about the nature and growing the trees. So this is called as urban or community forestry. And third is agroforestry. Agroforestry means it is a process of restoring forestry by planting trees with the agricultural crops. Agricultural crops means at the edge of the field might be they try to grow the trees so that there also a good environment is established. So these are the three types of reforestation or afforestation planning for restoring the forestry and also increasing the level of the oxygen. So these are the three remedies for bringing back the plant system on the earth which are being cut, which so that we survive, even the animals survive and their habitat also is not lost. So when we talk about this, there is a case study about people who have been participated in the conservation of the forest. That case study is the important one. The first case study is Bisnoi movement. So here people participation in the conservation of the forest I have written. These are the three stories only we can tell. Here you can see the picture here. So here the briefly the story I have written in the slide. You can see here. I'll read, then I'll tell you the story. So it was in 1731. Sorry, the king of Jodhpur in Rajasthan asked to arrange wood for constructing a new palace. He was already living in a palace, that fellow, and why he wanted a new palace, I don't know. So he will ask to arrange the wood itself for the minister. Okay, so the minister and the workers went to a forest nearby village inhabited by Bisnois. Bisnois means they are the group of people like Soligas, they are in Karnataka, no? You would have been heard when you visit the forest, tribal people. So this Bisnois were inhabited means their life was existing in the forest. They were completely dependent on the forest as a raw material, maybe for their household wood might be, and from the forest they used to gather the fruits, vegetables, or everything. They were dependent on the forest area. So this Bitnoi crafted them from cutting down the trees. So this minister he will come over there for taking back the wood. So when he comes over there, taking back the to take the wood, a Bisnoi woman, she will be living with her three daughters. She'll be living in that place. So she will go and that Bisnoi woman by name Amrita Devi. So this Amrita Devi hugged a tree, and when she goes and hug the tree, the ministers and the workers, that is the king's workers, what they will tell, sipais, you tell, no, those sipais, they will go and tell her, see, we are come here to collect the wood for the king, so you have to come off or else we will cut you. But she will not get scared. She will tell, I will save this tree by my blood, and she will go and hug the tree. When she goes and hug the tree, even her three daughters will go and hug the tree, but the king's men will have to follow the rules, I mean, order of the king. So what they will do, the king's men will cut down the tree along with Amrita Devi, and they will also cut the three daughters over there, and nearly some hundred of Bisnois will shed their blood over there. And after they shed their blood over there, it is told misbelief or myth only we can tell, but it was for a good reason only we can tell. Now also they tell they do a fair in her name in the same day where when she was being cut, and it was known by her name only, and she was regarded as a Devi, and her bloodshed did not waste. And after when all they died, they couldn't collect the wood from there. Still now the forest is safe, because they believe that Bisnoi women's or the people around there are their souls are still existing. That what they believe today also. So they don't they have not destroyed that forest. So we should give an great hands off to this woman who was daring with her three daughters and hugged those trees to save the forest. So it's a just a great story which is as a case study in conservation of the forest. So after our sacrifice, it was known to be as a Bisnoi movement. So government of India has instituted the Amrit Devi Bisnoi Wildlife Protection Award for individuals or the communities from the rural areas for extraordinary courage and dedication in protecting the wildlife. Okay, this is a second movement in the people participation in the conservation of the forest. That is Chipko movement of Garhwal Himalayas. It has took place in 1974, where local women participated to protect the trees from the hacks of the contractors by hugging them. Only one sentence I have given here. So I'll tell about this Chipko movement. So Chipko movement means it was also known as Chipko Andolana. It was a movement that involved hugging trees to protect them from cutting down. So, with the increase in awareness towards the rapid deforestation, the modern Chipko movement started in nearly 1970s in Gharwala in Himalayas of Uttarakhand. So, the landmark even in this struggle took place on March 26th. This situation occurred in 1974 in Chamoli district of Uttarakhand, India, when a group of peasant women means farmer women, they were in a rainy village protested against the cutting of the trees and reclaimed their traditional forest rights, and they were threatened also by the contractors who were there, of the state forest department. But these women were very strong. They hugged all the trees and started protesting it by inspired by their protest many actions at grassroots level throughout the region. By 1970s the movement spread in India and led a formulation for all the people sensitive forest policy was being laid because of the step taken by the women of the Garhwala Himalayas by the Chipko Andolan. In that in 19 the movement has started spreading. So today also you can see it is seen an inspiration and the precursor of Chipko movement of Garhwal. The Chipko movement, though primarily a livelihood movement, it was rather than the forest conservation movement. Now according to this, many environmental protester and the movement all over the world created a presiding and a non-violent protest against that. And after they hugged that, the contractors went back. It seemed that was the success for their protest. So this all movement is why it is done. We have to save our own environment, if you save our own environment only, our future generation, your kids are hugging the trees. Can you see? That means given awareness for the future generation, telling the trees, if you save, we are being saved. So if you have to save ourselves and our generation, we have to protect the trees or the plants around us. We shouldn't given a hand in cutting down the forest, eradicating the forest. We should always think the conservation of the forest. Okay. So thirdly, people participate in conservation of the forest. Last is a joint forest management, that what we call it as a JFM. So in JFM, realizing the significance and the effective of meaningful involvement of the local communities in protesting and developing the forest, Government of India has introduced a system called as Joint Forest Management System, that is JFM. It is a concept of developing partnership between the state forest department and the local communities. On the basis, means there is a mutual understanding between them, there is a mutual trust to jointly define the roles and the responsibilities with regard to the forest protection and the development. So this joint mission is slowly emerging into a form of a sustainable forestry, means conserving our own forest where we are living. It is a striving to create sufficient future forest production opportunity. The policies and the objective of JF are detailed in the Indian Comprehensive National Forest Policy of 1988. Usually, Joint Forest Management Guidelines of 1990 of Government of India, it tells although schemes vary from the state to state, or it is known by the different names or different language also. Together, it is understood we have to save the forest. So the village committee known as the Forest Protection Committee is emerged, and the forest department enters into a JFM1 agreement. It enters telling that villagers have to agree to assist in safeguarding the forest, and they shouldn't cut the forest for the resources, or they shouldn't state government or the government shouldn't allow any industry people to cut the trees or theft the forest areas. So that agreement is mutual agreement is done, and the forest who are dependent for the inhabitation of the forest resources also, they will use the forest to the limited grazing, and they can take the woods for only for limited amount for the fire, and illegal harvesting in exchange for which they receive a non-timber forest product should all be stopped. Then share of the revenue from the sale of the timber product should be stopped. After the initial success in the West Bengal and Haryana, the joint forest management scheme received national importance in the legislation in 1988, and the third in the guidelines of 1990. As of the 2005, nearly 27 states of Indian Union have various JFM schemes are being adapted. So why these schemes are being adapted means so that the forest is used to an I mean to minimum level, it is used for the basic requirements. So when there is a basic requirements, it is used, the forest will not be destroyed. So in turn for their services like fruits, gum, rubber, medicine, they can adopt the forest, but not illegally. For everything, they shall have to have a permission by the forest area people. So you know that in our place also we are having a forest boundary where nobody usually jumps the boundary and get into the forest to destroy it. Even every individual have a sense of saving the trees. If you save the trees only, we can also safely be in that environment. It is understood. So illegal activity is being moreover stopped by the JFM scheme formation. So it is a joint management between the local people who are nearing us in the forest area, and also with the government. So that is what we call it as joint forest management. Okay. by this the chapter is completed, children. See, these are the three case studies of regarding conservation of forest. When we talk about the conservation of the forest, also here also in biodiversity we have taught you in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. There also we have talked about the conservation of the forest. If you conserve the forest, you are going to conserve the ecosystem, balance the ecosystem, conserve the environment, and the global warming, greenhouse effect, ozone depletion, all this can be minimized. So if you save forest, if you save the plants, all this pollution level also will be going down. If there is no trees around the cities or in the society, also I have told you there will be increase in the level of the pollution. So we at last I tell you, go green be green mean, we if you cut in a plant or a tree for construction of your own house or construction of your road also, try to plant at least 20 plants in aiming that you have cut one tree. So that should be your aim. So the future generation children has to inhale oxygen means we have to go on saving the trees now and planting the trees. Okay, that should be your aim. So by this we will complete the chapter. If you have any doubt in this, you can ask me. This all slides are in regarding with the NCERT notes only. So these slides, if you write in notes, it is better. I'm going on telling this. It is for your help only. Have made the slides in the form of notes. So see the video again and again so that you can write it neatly. Okay, and understand it. Still, the case studies are all in the form of stories. I believe you have understood. If any doubt you have, you message me or call me, or if you come in the submission of the assignment also, you can meet us within a distance and clear your doubts and go. Okay, thank you, children.